Today's finest home adds a South African touch to a traditionally rustic aesthetic, but introduce contemporary components and rustic becomes on-trend country coolness. In other words, today we're kicking it barn style. In today's episode of Finest Homes, we're visiting a family home east of Johannesburg. As a brand new build echoing traditional barn-style features, I'm interested in seeing how contemporary design has been introduced to make this home a timeless one. The architect responsible for this project is Life+Style of Francois Marais Architects. Lali, we're talking barn style, and this can be considered quite a traditional aesthetic. What was in the client's brief that achieved this architectural design?
Yes, so the clients asked us to design a family home, specific style being an industrial modern farmhouse or barn style if you want to. And we decided to really work with the structure, play with the structure, emphasize the structure. If you walk around the house, you'll see the exposed columns. You'll see the use of exposed trusses. So we really try to expose the structure, use different materials. So the house also have a lot of features. I mean, coming into the lobby, double volume entrance, exposing the structure, the beams that carries the cantilever of the front entrance, the stairs going up to the first floor, which is your private areas, your bedrooms, where the family spend their time. Each room specifically designed for the individual and the family. Right, and you can also see behind me the central atrium. Central atrium doesn't only separate the areas, but it also connects it visually. It brings the outside, the landscape into the house. It allows for a lot of light to come into the house, again emphasizing the structure around it. And then what happens is that we separated the areas around the central area to create a more private area towards your study, for walkway around the water feature, bringing in some natural elements, and then the living areas just opening up behind the stairways, where the family lives, where they spend their time, where they entertain. And then from there we open up again into the landscape. So it's a whole narrative of telling a story as you move through the house, with the structure being exposed the whole time.
Why do you think this style sort of appeals to the South African homeowner at this point? It seems to be really on trend at the moment.
To me, the beauty is the articulation of the different materials. I mean, it's stone, it's cladding, it's steel, it's timber, it's masonry, it's plaster. So you can combine a variety of materials within the style, okay, with a single form being the barn or the industrial style or the farmhouse style, with all these elements enriching the style. So I think that's the one part of it. The other part, it gives height. It makes the structure feel light. I mean, if you look through the clear story windows, which it allows, I mean, summer afternoons when there's a thunderstorm on its way, the animation of the cloud starts playing through the windows from the inside of the house. So the style is popular, and especially on the high felt vernacular, the modern farmhouse style, or in this case, industrial modern farmhouse style.
Absolutely, and I think we have some of the best weather, so you definitely don't want to miss any of it. But enough about the outside. I'd love to see what you've done with the inside. Shall we have a look?
Let's have a look.
Cheers. As much as the atrium draws you into the foyer, the spacious living areas are extended even further through the stackable doors that seem to make up an entire wall towards the outdoor entertainment area. Now, Lali, excuse the pun, but what would you say are the pillars that really construct this indoor-outdoor feel, particularly in the barn style?
Okay, I think it's the openable space, the stacking doors opening up the entertainment area behind us. As previously said, you know, it's revealing and concealing. As you come into the house, you see the stairs feature the central atrium, and then suddenly it opens up into this entertainment space, which opens up into the garden space. And because we've got these rectangular structures or rectangular forms or volumes that are typical of the style, we could create this private garden space screened from the neighbors and the streets.
And it's interesting how you're using the same materials in the exterior and the interior.
Yeah, that's part of bringing the outside in and the inside out, blurring those boundaries and creating this open space. You know, that the house you can live outside, inside, and you experience the design as a whole as you move through the house and what can open up into the next phase of the design.
So I think it's really interesting how the bare raw material in the exterior integrates quite well in the interior as well. How did you ensure that happened?
Yeah, I mean, it was important to bring, again, the outside in, inside out. Again, working with the concept of the central atrium, where we bring in the landscape, and then taking it further, not stopping there, that we also make sure that the materials are also exposed. Like, for instance, you can see in some areas, you can see the beams running in the walls. We decided not to hide that, but to emphasize it as beauty, as part of the aesthetics. Even how does that combine with a wall? How does it join with a wall or a tile or a timber finish? And that was the idea, and ensuring we're taking the concept right through from the landscape through into the interior.
Yeah, so it sounds like we know that metal and wood are a mainstay of barn style, but the glass introduction sort of speaks to the lifestyle that the client needed or might have briefed to you.
Yeah, definitely. They wanted it open. They wanted to open up in the estate, creating private areas, but again, the whole house opens up. And you can enjoy the exterior, the interior, and then again, it's the views. We've got the clear story windows that if you look out the window, you see the animation of the clouds and not necessarily look at the neighbor. So those are important elements that we used in glazing, and to allow light in, sun in, and again to use screens where you don't want the sun to actually summer sun to penetrate the building.
Well, you know, we speak about barn style and it is quite traditional. How do we keep it fresh and contemporary and last the test of time?
Look, I think the materials that you use, okay, there's the standard. You use your form, which is the roof and the wall, and becoming one singular element or seamless element. And then it's the corrugated sheeting roof. But then you can always play in architecture with the forms, the shapes, the views you create. It's never stagnant. It's about moving through space and experiencing space, and not just an element in space, but also while you're in that space, what do you see around you, what opens up. And that will differ for each site, each client, each brief, and that is what makes this remarkable.
Yeah, that sounds like that's what makes this a perfect family home, so the family can actually grow into it and sort of last the test of time.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. We don't want something to be outdated or ever, and the spatial experience that you get, the finishes that we used, the separation of elements, also to allow for future additions if that is what a family might need, or someone in the future might need. It's easier to do that with the rectangular forms that we created and the roof structure to expand onto this house if you need to do that one day.
Did you experience any challenges at all in constructing this home?
Look, it's a corner stand and we've got neighbors around, so privacy. We had to respect that. The neighbors and then our clients living in the house, how do they enjoy it? So we created the form in a U shape, and we separated the functional areas. The gym on the one side, the indoor pool, the entertainment area opening up, the rooms as a private space for the family themselves to enjoy, the cinema and the guest room being separate, all shaped around the central atrium, which allows the light, sunlight, ventilation through that space. So privacy was an element we had to take into account, and hence the design of the house and the form, which was guided by the context in which we designed the house.
After the break, we speak to the interior designer and landscaper who brought their skill to this family home. In today's episode of Finest Homes, we're visiting a house designed by Francois Marais Architects, where a contemporary barn meets the entertainment needs of its family. Before the break, I met with architect Lali Oosthuizen to talk about the architectural elements he introduced. Now we'll take a closer look at the approach taken by interior designer Anne-Marie Venter. Hello.
Hi.
Thank you so much. Wow, Anne-Marie. This interior really is a stunning combination of classic elements with contemporary touches. What was the description that the client gave you in the brief?
I must say the family is very relaxed, laid-back people, very family-orientated. they very much focus on family time and quality time together. So we try to combine contemporary with a bit of warm elements, but also to create that family environment.
And I mean, the room that we're standing in right now screams family time, right? It's got that indoor-outdoor experience. Talk me through all the different elements that we have around.
Well, where we're standing right now is the kitchen, which is the heart of the home. And for this family as well, having breakfast together, they are focused on spending time and eating together, which is something in nowadays that people don't do anymore. So yes, heart of the home, that's spilling out onto the family room, the formal lounge, and dining. And as a whole space, it's a bigger room of entertainment area.
Well, the entertainment area looks like a great place to have fun, but it seems like some hard work is also done in the gym that I noticed in the corner of my eye. Describe to me the different family needs that you had to have in this home.
So the family are very health conscious and love exercising. It forms part of their lifestyle and just their way to release and to relax. And we incorporated the design with the entertainment, and the gym is right next to that. We designed the pool area specifically for exercising, but also for relaxing. So you have an indoor pool area, but it's also a relaxing space where you can exercise.
I must say, I really like the layout and flow of this particular room. And I just want to talk about the space that we're in right now, the kitchen. It looks like it's a great combination of barn style and sleek contemporary. You did that so well in marrying them together.
Yeah, I think being the heart of the home, combining the wood, which gives it a bit more of a classic look, and then having the shaker doors, which gives you a bit more of a contemporary modern look. Combining both gives it that timeless look and feel, and creating a nice family space.
There's such a brilliant sense of light in here, both with the natural light and the feature light.
With this house, we focused a lot on natural light, with the beautiful surroundings that we have in the open spaces, and because this is such a safe estate, we really took advantage of it. Opened up a lot of spaces. We've got stacking doors, we've got sliding windows, so that you are able to open it up completely. And then obviously feature lights, which I am absolutely fond of. I feel that that is such an important part of decorating and designing an area. Another space that I felt was really important for the family was the cinema room. Not only is it just a space to relax, but it's a good time for family time and just spending quality time together. A cinema room is very technical. You need to take acoustic in consideration, the sound waves and all of that. So to design around it, we try to use a lot of textures and 3D panels to make it work, and then also lighting. We've used fiber optic lighting to give it that nice starry night look and feel, but you've got the different light settings to it. We've also brought in some color just to make it a little bit more of a fun area, not just technical specifications. And yeah, just a comfortable area where you will sit and be able to watch a movie for 3 hours on a comfortable chair.
Sure. And does the wall treatment and sort of flooring play a role as well?
Absolutely. You've got areas where you need to absorb the sound, and you've got areas where you need to bounce the sound waves off. So that's why we really get in touch and we work close together, our technical specialists that just advise us, and then we just make it look more appealing.
And I noticed as you walk out of the cinema, you met with a beautiful atrium right in front of you. Talk to me about creating that beautiful aesthetic.
So the idea with the atrium is to give you that natural light all through the house, not just on the edges of the house. So it's nice to create an area where you can bring the outside inwards. And a lot of people think that interior designers only focus on decor and the internal, but we like to bring the exterior into the house.
Right, Anna-Marie, we're now in the upstairs area where most of the bedrooms are. Looking up at the ceiling, you pay homage to the barn style, but each room has its own distinctive character. How did you incorporate this?
So obviously we pay a lot of attention to each person that uses the room. This room specifically was for the teenage daughter. We used clean lines, light We use a lot of height in the room, obviously with the ceiling and the roof type that we've used. And just played around with whites and silvers.
In the son's bedroom, how's that display in the closet? I love it.
Yes, yes, and he loves his hobbies. And with the display, he wanted to showcase all the hard work that he's put into it.
Yeah. It's interesting how the wallpaper has played a huge role in sort of really emulating the character in the room.
Yeah, absolutely. So with the daughter's room, there is a lot of soft textures. Obviously with her room, if she gets tired of the colors and the textures, she can bring in another color. Where with the son, we use something a little bit more masculine and textured. We played around with the darker colors. Once again, just picking up on all the different personalities that you work with.
Now, as I said earlier, looking up at the ceiling, straight up barn style. Talk to us about the incorporation of this style and contemporary.
So once again, contemporary, playing around with the woods on the floors, bringing in the clean lines with the walls, textures on the wallpaper, and of course your feature lights, which plays such an important role. I must say we've used similar tones throughout the house, but each room has its own personality. And we brought that in with wallpapers and accessories, trying to keep the mood and flow throughout the house, but having the different features in each room.
Yeah, I love the consistency. Downstairs we had the indoor-outdoor living. That sort of continued upstairs, where each bedroom has a balcony.
Absolutely.
That works really well.
Yeah, obviously to bring the beautiful weather that we have here just into the house itself.
Yeah. I know you're deeply involved in the construction of this home, but tell me your favorite part of the process.
I must say this house was designed specifically for this family and their needs and what they want in life. And the whole process, just going through this journey with them, was extremely personal. And I enjoy that as a designer. I think it gives so much more character to the home.
After the break, we chat to the landscaper responsible for the Indigenous garden and Life+Style entertainment area. In today's episode of Finest Homes, we're visiting a family home designed by Francois Marais Architects. The contemporary barn-style home enjoys all the classic features associated with this architectural style, while incorporating elements that speaks to the homeowner's need for healthy living and entertainment. With a home that enjoys such an effortless flow between indoors and outdoors, a well-designed garden is non-negotiable. Eric Rowell of Bush Tech Landscaping takes me through the work they did. Eric, upon entry, the landscaping is one of the first features that you see. What was your involvement in the initial creation of this building?
Right in the beginning, met with a client, see what ideas and features they wanted, what they would have want in specific areas. We wanted to complement the height of the house with big trees and all of that, so that was all part of the planning in the beginning. Yeah.
I'd like to start from front to the end because you really have three sort of main areas from a landscaping perspective. Can you name them and sort of highlight the key features of them?
Key features are definitely the big trees. Clients love the big trees. He made me put quite a lot of them in. The big boulders, and then aloes, cycads, dry stumps. That's all part of the indigenous look and the bushveld look, if I can put it that way, the Serengeti look that we are trying to create in this house. Yeah.
With the type of plants that you've used and this spectacular outside area, how did you ensure that this garden is enjoyable throughout the year?
Well, with the indigenous aloes and the flowers, they flower in winter where you've got other plants flowering in summer. We've got the evergreens and deciduous trees, so the garden changes right through the year with colours in summer, colour in winter. So yeah, that's the main objective through the garden.
I have to say one of my favourite parts of the home is the atrium. It's beautifully done.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of challenges with the atrium garden, especially with water, drainage, that sort of thing. They've got the cinema room on the right hand side of the atrium on a lower level. So the drainage was done properly. There's drainage pipes going through the house. That's why we worked a little bit more with stone and pebbles and trees or a tree that doesn't grow large. It's a medium-sized tree, and you don't have root issues at the end of the day. So yeah, a couple of challenges, but we worked around it.
If contemporary interior design speaks to your heart, then knowing how to bring it all together is a must. Anne-Marie, when I think of contemporary style, especially in this day and age, I think clean and sleek. But what does it mean in your books?
I believe contemporary is warm and textured, and it can be anything from clean and sleek, but when you add those natural elements, it creates the space. And whether you do contemporary modern or whether you do contemporary classic, when combined, it's a timeless style.
So does that mean there's sort of different iterations of contemporary style?
Absolutely, absolutely. Especially in South Africa, we add all our natural elements, and South Africa is a beautiful country with beautiful natural elements around us. So when we add greenery, or when we add wood or timber and concrete, and you combine that with your sleek or your colors, it creates a beautiful space.
And I see that's what you've incorporated in this spread that you've got over here. Talk me through the elements that you've selected. Okay,
so as a baseline, we've used wallpaper, which added a bit of color, but we started once again with the natural elements, the greens and the wood with the texture. And then just complementing the wallpaper with some simple colors, adding concrete, the wood also, which is your natural, clean, raw element. And then just complementing it with your Pantones, with your colors. And I think when you have your neutral tones as a whole and you combine it with a color or that specific texture, you get your end result.
Well, it sounds like there's a lot that you can add on to contemporary style. Absolutely. But if we had to define it into sort of 3 characteristics as a standalone style, what would you say?
I would definitely say the textures and colors, where we have the concrete look, which is your grey, cold look and feel. Then you have your wood, which is an element that you can place on the floor or with furniture, which brings in a bit more of a warm element. And then a color. Nice thing with contemporary is you can literally use any color to complement the style.
It sounds like there's so much to play with, but one that stuck out for me is color. How far across the spectrum can we play here?
I think it's an absolute personal decision. The nice thing about interior design is that you design for the person and the personality. And someone might like red, someone might like just neutrals. And with the contemporary style, like I mentioned, you can bring in absolutely anything.
But surely there's a limit. I mean, for such a clean style, wouldn't you say?
I always say that bring in colors just with accessories, like a scatter cushion or a rug, or even a throw, where with color, unfortunately, color changes and your look and feel on something might change. And in about a year or 2, you might have a different look on the color that you've chosen. And then you just change your accessories and you have a whole new room.
The versatility that you touched on makes me think that this is appropriate for any sort of room in the home. Would you say that?
Absolutely. I think as you enter into a house and you walk straight through kitchen, living areas and bedrooms, this is a style that really flows. And as soon as you have that, it complements each area to have the same style and not have each and every room a different look and feel.
And Anne-Marie, would you say that this is a style that can sort of cross architectural styles?
I believe so, yes, because it's such a timeless style. I think it works with modern, it works with classic, and I think contemporary in South Africa is becoming a trend. It's becoming a South African trend, where we combine classic, modern, and neutral feels to the house.
I'm so glad you mentioned that, because when you think contemporary, you think the now, but is it a style that you can carry over time and update?
Absolutely, yes. It's an absolute timeless style. That's why we use neutral colors, neutral tones, and just add your decorative elements and your accessories in colors, and something that is looking good at the moment.
You take your accessories and you let them take you through time.
Absolutely.
That's it for this week's episode of Finest Homes.